This is Fire Survival. Thanks for joining me. I present to you a making of video. I'm making the bush bag. I go through various different steps. The video is quite long, so I apologize for that, but please bear with me. I go through every step of making this pretty complicated bag. It's the first one that I ever created that was so large, and I'm pretty proud of it. Thanks for joining me, and here's the video. This is the design that I want to go for. Darker leather on the side, lighter leather in the front and the flap, with darker straps, plus a handle. I may put a belt loop in the back here, so that we can carry it across the shoulder, plus tie it to the waist so that it doesn't flap around if we need to move. Making it 36 centimeters wide, 90 centimeters long, and this is going to be the main body of the bag. So this is the front, the bottom, the back, and the flap. This will be the flap area. This is oiled cowhide. I'll be using this for the sides. Plan. We're gonna finish the side mounting for the D-rings like this. We're gonna have two of these. We're gonna create a belt for closing the flaps. So this is the top flap. I'm gonna put a belt here, a belt
here to close it. And then I'm gonna put in an axe mount for the right flap. So this is gonna be the axe mount. And then for the left flap, I'm gonna be putting these crab claws plus a D-ring to attach some other items. So I don't want to put bags on the side because it's going to get kind of busy and ugly. I want to try to keep it simple and functional as possible. So this, I'll probably put it on the bottom. I'll be able to throw in a small axe to carry it. And then the next step after that would be the belt for the flap. It'll be one continuous belt that goes from the bottom all the way around to the top. So this will have to be probably, you know, it doesn't have to be that strong. I'll probably rivet these all the way across so that I can close it. And then I'm going to attach the sides to the main body, and then I'll wax, and then I'll finish the bag. So that's the work plan. So what I did was I took a piece of rectangular leather, folded in half, snapped the sides with a pair of scissors, like this. So I could put the ring. This is the side flap. So this is going to be attached here, and then the belt will clasp on these crab claws, or clasp on, and then the belt will pull up the bag this way. So this actually has to be kind of strong, so I'm going to probably use 4 screws. We're using Chicago screws. I'm doing that and not stitching it because I may not like the look of the bag later. And if I attach it using Chicago screws, I'll be able to reattach it with something else, so it's less permanent. So let's see how it goes. Keep these lined up properly. I'm just gonna use just a paper clip to hold them in place, hold the leather in place so it doesn't move around when I punch the holes. Before I attach all of these, you know, let me just show all the hardware. These are brass clasps. I think they're called like claw clasps. So the belt, the shoulder belt, will be attached to this side, and this will be attached to the bag using these O-rings. These are also made of brass. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any brass belt keepers, but this will be in the front. These will hold the belts that go around the bag and hold, you know, close the flaps to the main body. Sorry, this will be the belt clasp. This and the O-ring will attach onto one of the sides, so I can attach accessories. Like I could put a belt here, I could clasp on a maybe a light, some kind of a light source, flashlight, or anything else that I can attach here. And as I said, one of the sides will have one of the sides over here will have like an axe flap, like an axe holder. I'll be using this to close for the main belt, the shoulder belt. I'll be using one of these to for the small belt that will be used to hold the flaps for the bag at the top together. I mean, you can't imagine it now, but you'll see it when I attach it. Okay, that's all the summary of the hardware. Half-ton arbor press. It's been modified to hold, there's a hole here where I can put punches and snap setters, and it's adjusted and tightened using this screw. I got this off of eBay by somebody who's making it. It's much easier to punch holes and to set snaps using this instead of like a hammer, because you know, I live in a residential building and people like banging sounds. It's much easier to set holes using this. It was not that expensive, but you know, since I live in Hong Kong, it cost me a bit of money to bring it over here. It was pretty heavy. You can get this on eBay. Chicago screws that I'll be using to attach the belt ring. I don't know what to call it. So I need to make the holes approximately that wide. I think that is looks like about 4 millimeters. So I need a hole punch that's that size. Hole punch. This is approximately, it's about 3 millimeters in the entrance, but by the time it makes the hole, it gets about 4 millimeters. So let's screw this on. Lift this the way. So that goes in here. Okay, I tighten it, and I'll use to press down to make the hole. So this is the bottom plate. And this is the plastic, so I don't damage my hole punch. Lining up these holes and making the hole punch. You see what's happening? You can turn it to the side. So I make hole number 1. Okay. So hole number 2. The Chicago screws can fit right in. Okay, just have to maneuver it. Okay, see? And then that's how you do it. So we'll need 4 more holes. So okay, see that? Now I'm gonna have to line up these holes with the side flap and make sure that I get the hole dimensions correct, and I'll be punching holes in here. The reason why we add the hardware, the reason why we add it before we attach the sides to the bag, because it'd be much harder to do once the sides are attached to the main body. So put the two side pieces, they're going to go on the side and hold up the bag. Okay, cool.
At this point I lost the audio, so let me try to see if I could can kind of narrate this part. So I had just completed putting the holding straps, the straps that go around the body of the bag, and I just drilled holes into the body of the bag, and I riveted the belt, the two belts around. As you can see, I used Chicago screws again, and it's a very simple bag where the front, the bottom, and the back and the flap is just one big piece. Right now I show a punch, like a 5-hole punch, and this is what I'm going to be using to create the holes to go around the sides, the 2 side parts of the bag, and the front and the sides will be joined by a saddle stitching method. But right now I'm putting holes in the sides of the bag, and I have to measure it, and then I'm marking it with this tool. I forget what it's called. So I make the grooves, and then you'll see me using the arbor press with the 5-hole punch in it, and then I'll be making holes. Now I mark the main body of the bag. It's very important to use a ruler to make the markings, because you definitely want to have a straight line when you're punching these holes. And I'm using the arbor press to punch the holes right now, and to make sure that they stay aligned, I line up the last hole with the first hole of the punch so that they stay straight. And now that I've punched all the holes, what I'm now doing is select this black cotton waxed thread. It's quite strong and very heavy, and because it's waxed, I think it'll keep out the moisture and prevent itself getting frayed over the years. And what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring the amount of thread that I'm going to be needing, and then I use stitching needles, and what I'm going to be doing is doing saddle stitching. So I'll saddle stitch this black cotton thread into the punched holes, or through the holes, and it makes a very strong bond. It's much stronger than stitching it using a sewing machine, because basically you have two independent strands of thread that go through every hole and across each other, and they interlock inside the hole itself. So even if one of the threads become broken, the bag will stay together because the other thread is going through every other hole. So saddle stitching is one of the best methods for stitching. That's why you see a lot of people who are making leather garments and leather items using saddle stitching. And you know, I'm no expert in this. This is probably maybe my 4th or 5th piece. I learned how to do this by watching YouTube videos. Now the side is completed, and you can see how smooth it looks. The side pieces of the bag fold inwards, and the outside of the bag has been sewed over the side pieces, and that's why it looks very smooth. And I think the lines are very nice. This is the first large bag that I've ever made that's kind of the 3-dimensional piece with side flaps, and I think it turned out okay. Now we're starting the other side. I'm stitching the same way. The side of the bag is folded inwards, and the outside part of the bag is folded on top, and then I'm saddle stitching both pieces together. This whole bag took me about 12 hours over a couple days, over a weekend, where it started with the design and the cutting and all the measurements. Because I made the bag design very simple, where I only had to stitch 2 side pieces to the main body, and the main body itself didn't need any other stitching besides that. I think it took a lot shorter amount of time than somebody else kind of doing it. You can see the leather is very thick, the holes are small, and the wax cotton thread is also very strong and thick, so I have to use a pair of pliers to pull the stitching through. Here, what I've done is I've overlaid the front of the bag on top of the sides of the bag to do the stitching. I have not seen this done before, but I felt that this was going to be an easy way for me to bond the two pieces together. And as you notice, I created these notches on the sides of the leather of the side pieces so they could fold inwards. So once the whole thing is done stitching, it's going to look like as if the sides are inside of the outside of the bag. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you'll see when the stitching is completed how it looks like. The bag is more or less done. The last step that I need to do is to treat it with wax. I use wax that I got from Candy Leather, and it kind of darkens the leather, but it also makes it very resilient to moisture. Here's the bag completely finished. It looks okay. I put a handle at the back. It's been bolted onto the back structure. I've bolted that on using the rivets. The axe handle looks nice. I made the flap quite long, and I also made the belt very long as well, so that I can put extra gear on top of the bag. And in the back, I put in a small strap, because in case I wanted to use this to go on trips or holidays, I could put it on the rolling suitcase. I could put a handle through it. I mean, both pieces of the leather are oiled cowhide, so I think it'll hold up to the elements, and it should start looking better over time. You know, it takes two hands to open it, so I'm holding the camera with my hand. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much for watching. If you're interested, I could send you the dimensions. Just send me a message or make a comment on my video. Thank you very much for watching it. You know, please come back for more. Thank you.